Welcome back to the Noob Selling Options channel, everybody. Today, we're taking a deep, mechanical dive into literally the exact scenario every premium seller dreads. We're talking about that heart-sinking moment when your perfectly peaceful short position just gets completely run over by a freight train of a rally. So we're going to diagnose exactly why trades fail, and way more importantly, give you the exact mathematical cure to fix them.
Now, this explainer is built specifically for everyone here at Noob Selling Options who has ever felt that terrible sinking pit in their stomach. You know the one. For the newer folks hanging out with us, selling a naked call basically means you're selling the obligation to provide shares of a stock you don't even own at a specific price. You get a nice premium up front, sure, but if that stock price just absolutely moons and goes parabolic, your risk is, theoretically, infinite. So today, we're looking at how to stop the bleeding on a runaway trade and turn a genuinely terrifying situation into an absolute masterclass in risk management.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with when rallies melt your face, move into the psychology of a loss, and then talk about shifting to mechanical detachment. From there, we'll look at repairing the SNDK strangle, break down the net math, and wrap up with survive, roll, and subscribe.
All right, Section 1, when rallies melt your face. Let's get right into it.
Moving on to Section 2, the psychology of a loss, where we really look at the mind versus the math.
So let's actually map out the psychological descent we all go through during a brutal loss. A parabolic momentum move in high beta tech, man, it is profoundly stressful when you've got short premium standing right in its path. It takes a monumental amount of discipline to look at a face-melting rally and force your brain back to the technicals. Step 1 of this failure loop is anchoring and denial. You spent hours building this high-conviction thesis, so your ego anchors to it. You tell yourself, oh, it's just a temporary squeeze. It absolutely has to pull back tomorrow. You just completely ignore the actual price action because, well, your ego desperately wants to be right. Then, step 2 hits, loss aversion. Behavioral economics actually proves that the psychological pain of losing money is literally twice as intense as the joy of making it. Crazy, right? And that leads straight into step 3, physiological panic. Why does staring at red P&L trigger a fight-or-flight response? Well, because your brain processes that sudden loss of financial resources as an actual physical threat to your survival. Your amygdala fires up, your heart rate spikes, and your higher-level cognitive function, the part of you that calmly calculates the math, just completely shuts down.
Under that kind of immense physiological stress, traders almost always default to one of two highly destructive extremes. First, you've got the freeze, or basically total paralysis. This is where you do absolutely nothing. You just sit there staring blankly at the screen, hoping and praying the market will magically reverse and save you. You're essentially turning a strategic options trade into a pure game of hope. On the flip side, the other extreme is the flight, better known as revenge trading. This is where you completely panic close the position for max loss, only to immediately open up an even riskier over-leveraged trade in the total opposite direction. You're trying to make it all back fast, usually by buying some ridiculous 0 days to expiration options on margin. And look, spoiler alert here, both of these paths, they just lead straight to blown-up accounts and a whole lot of pain.
Okay, Section 3, shifting to mechanical detachment, which is really your ultimate psychological shield.
So our core mantra for survival is incredibly simple. The goal is to become an emotionless mechanic. What does that mean? It means completely divorcing yourself from the unrealized P&L blinking on the screen. Seriously, stop staring at those raw, terrifying dollar amounts. Instead, you gotta look at the Greeks. Think of the Greeks exactly like the dashboard of your car. Delta tells you your directional risk, right? Like how much your position is gonna bleed if the stock moves another dollar. Theta tells you your time decay, showing how much the passage of time is actually working in your favor. Listen, when a trade goes completely rogue, the goal is no longer about being right on your original thesis. The goal now is to use this technical dashboard to defend your portfolio, to just survive until the probabilities swing back in your favor.
That brings us to Section 4, repairing the SNDK strangle. Let's talk about the defensive roll-up. Picture this. You log into your brokerage account and you see this exact scenario. SNDK has just rallied hard and completely blown right past your short 2020 call. It's literally threatening your entire portfolio. But instead of panicking, we are going to act like mechanics. Now, at first glance, I know a 4-leg options ticket can look pretty overwhelming, but let's look really closely at what's actually happening here. Instead of freezing up, the trader is buying back the original naked options to close them out, while simultaneously selling new naked options to adjust the strikes. We are executing a beautiful, classic defensive roll-up. Let's break down exactly what these numbers mean.
All right, moving into Section 5, the net math breakdown, looking at cost versus premium.
Look, options math can definitely be intimidating, especially when you're looking at a multi-leg ticket executed all at once. But let's simplify the mechanics here.
Normally, buying back a losing call costs an absolute fortune. In this specific case, closing out that threatened 2020 call, it costs over $34,000. Add in closing the put, and you're looking at a massive $44,618 debit just to close the old trade out. But here's the thing, we absolutely do not accept that loss. Instead, we finance a strategic retreat by rolling up our untested put. By moving our short put up from the 700 strike to the 750 strike, yeah, we take on slightly more risk by inching closer to the current stock price. But here is the absolute secret of options pricing. Because we are moving that put closer to the money, increasing its delta, and taking on that extra directional risk, the market literally has to pay us a massive premium for it.
And check this out. By executing all 4 legs at the exact same time, effectively shifting the entire profit tent upward to match SNDK's new trading range, the premium collected from that put adjustment completely covered that massive $44,000 debit. In fact, it resulted in a net received credit of exactly $34. Think about that for a second. You didn't pay a single dime out of pocket to save this trade. By acting purely mechanically, you literally forced the market to pay you to fix it. How cool is that?
So, let's quickly review the reality of your new position. Rather than freezing up and passively hoping the stock would drop, or panicking and taking a brutal realized loss, you successfully pulled off a strategic retreat. You now have a live naked short strangle with strikes at 750 and 2100, expiring out in February 2027. And why does this matter so much? Because you survived, plain and simple. You bought yourself a ton of time and a massive $80 per share of extra breathing room on the upside, all without realizing a catastrophic loss to your account.
Okay, our final section, Section 6. Survive, roll, and maintain that mindset.
Listen, this is exactly what it takes to survive long-term in the options market. Building an impenetrable mindset means truly accepting that outsized volatility is the exact reason options command a premium in the very first place. Rallies are going to happen. Strikes will inevitably get breached. It's just part of the game. But shifting from pure panic to cold mechanical detachment, looking at the Greeks, harvesting that premium, and strategically rolling strikes so you can fight another day, that is the secret sauce that keeps you in the game for the long haul. Mastering this kind of mindset definitely takes time, but it is absolutely the key to your survival as a trader. If this explainer helped you understand how to shift your brain away from panic and back into mechanics, please smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the Noob Selling Options channel. We are here to make sure you never miss another crucial repair strategy. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time a massive rally sets your portfolio on fire, are you going to freeze and let it burn, or are you going to pick up your wrench and roll? Keep trading mechanically, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.